G'day everyone, Engelo Rumora here from Ohio Cashflow. I hope you're all well, your favorite Australian, and you guessed it, the real estate dingo. Now we've got a new series of videos, okay? And these videos are going to be involving testimonials from investors. And today we've got Jacob Elbe. Mate, how are you?
Doing great, thanks. And you?
Awesome. I'm good, mate. I'm always good, always good. Jacob owns a company called True North Property Solutions, okay? So he owns a ton of investment properties all around the country. He also joint ventures with other investors. And this guy's the real deal, offers them a great return on investment. We've known each other for, almost a year now? We've been in correspondence. Something like that. So, guys, look, we don't really have any agenda here. I've got 10 questions that, of course, I can't memorize, okay? So, what we're going to do is I'm just going to, spout them out at you, mate, and it's just kind of more of a, bit of a chat. You're going to kind of tell everyone a little bit about us and what we do and all that fun stuff, alrighty? So, mate, first question that I've got for you here is what made you invest in turnkey real estate?
So when I first jumped into real estate, started doing the research, my background was in finance, and I had one property that kind of became a rental property by default when, as an active duty military guy, the military decided it was time for me to move somewhere else. The market had tanked, so there was no chance for me to sell the property, so it became my first rental property. And a few years later, decided to look into maybe buying a couple of more. Awesome. So I was out of country at the time. I was stationed in the Netherlands working for NATO with the Air Force. Awesome. And looking at properties back in the U.S., I knew that no matter where I bought a property, it was going to be out of state. I had no idea where I was going to live by the time I moved back to the U.S. And so I decided to do some research on what were the best markets to be investing in, where to go from there, basically, because if it wasn't going to be local no matter what, I might as well pick based on the market and the returns that I could get instead of an area that I knew. Sure.
So turnkey kind of seemed like the most viable option, especially since you were out of country.
Right. Yep. And so that's how I ended up looking at turnkey properties. At a few different providers and different properties and going through the numbers, and it just kind of made sense. I needed something that I could do from that kind of a distance and remain as passive as possible, and found that was going to give me much better returns than what I was doing at the time in finance and stocks, so made the jump.
Awesome, mate. Fantastic. All right, question number 2. What actually made you take that plunge? So when did you decide that you wanted to take that leap of faith and just jump in? Is there any particular moment or?
I kind of went back and forth. I did as much research as I could, but at the end of the day, I decided on Cleveland as the market for my first property, and really had no idea. I was pretty sure there was a real property there. I was pretty sure that the multiple different people I had talked to about the property that they had my best interests at heart. But in the end, you had to take that jump, right?
The leap of faith. Yep.
Right. And that's what it came down to. So for me, I found my own home inspector to go out and check out this property. Pretty sure it's good to go. I'm still learning the process, but decided to go for it and thought that in the price range I was looking at the time, with a 20% down payment of maybe $15,000 to $18,000, I thought, well, I'd prefer not to lose it all. I thought, it just made sense. I had to take that leap, and the risk, the reward was greater than the risk, right? So I knew there was some risk there still, not really knowing, but I built a little bit of a relationship with these people over time and got comfortable with the fact that, yes, I think this is going to provide a great return on my money. Yep. And it was just go for it, or I was never going to get started.
Yep. Well, it's something that I always say, that gut instinct, that intuition. It's something that I like to use very often, personally in my business practices and ventures. And if I feel off from within, it's I would say 90% of the time my gut instinct and intuition is right. Sometimes I do get it wrong, but 90% of the time it's right. But as you say, at the end of the day, you just got to take that leap of faith. I did it many times. I lost my ass doing it, but it is what it is. So, without risk, there is no reward, mate. And as long as you educate yourself like you've conducted the due diligence on the people more than the actual numbers. That is one, very important thing that I always advise everyone to do, to focus on the people first before the actual stats and demographics of a particular area. So, awesome, dude. Okay, it's question number 3. What was your biggest concern before investing? And is it still a concern?
before getting into real estate, it was probably just being at such a distance,
Yep.
And not knowing the details of that market, right? So
Sure.
I had to trust the folks there on the ground. I did do as much research as I could instead of just relying on the person selling me the property. I think it's important. I always tell people, call a local property manager,
Sure.
right? Find out what a real rental market rate is for that area,
Sure.
so you're not just taking it for what the pro forma says on a
Sure.
property.
Sure.
And so I think that was my biggest concern, was that the rent estimates were accurate, and that when it did go empty, whether it be a year from now or hopefully not before that first lease was supposed to be up, that I wasn't going to have any issue filling the property again, that it really was a high demand area and that it wasn't going to get destroyed.
Because let me interject, because a ton of operators will just pump up those rent estimates so they can on paper have a bigger cap rate, when in fact, sure, they might be able to get a tenant in there for 6 months to a year, but then when it becomes vacant, forget about it. You're going to look at $50 to $100 less. Yep. Awesome, mate.
Right.
Cool.
Right.
Awesome, dude. Is it still a concern?
It is if I'm looking into the new market.
Sure.
I'd say now that I have a team in each of the markets that we work in, I'm pretty comfortable with those teams. I've built those relationships.
Awesome.
And I've analyzed and looked at enough properties now that over time you learn the right numbers.
You do.
Before I even see what the rent estimate is from the seller, I can look at the property, see where it's at, and have a pretty good idea in my head of what that rent would be like for that area.
Awesome, dude.
I think time and relationships with the sellers help get rid of that fear.
Definitely, mate. Hey, what made you choose Ohio Cashflow? Now, don't say it's my good looks and Australian accent, mate, but I know that's definitely played a part. But no, what made you choose Ohio Cashflow?
Sure. So for me, it was a couple of things. The biggest thing I look for in a property manager, but also in a seller, is communication.
Sure.
So for Ohio Cashflow, I found that was by far one of your strengths. I have had not issues, but trouble in the past with property managers that were great. They manage hundreds of properties.
Yep.
But when I have a problem or I need to get in touch with them, it could take up to a week to hear back from somebody. And that's frustrating, right? As a owner, as a landlord.
Because the only thing, the only thing tying you to that property is the people on the ground. So if they're not promptly communicating to you, you're in the unknown. You don't know what's going on. So awesome, mate. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no problem. And it also raises concerns when that happens, right? Do tenants have to wait that long when they contact the property manager and things like that? And then you end up having higher turnover rates and everything. So right away, building that relationship with Ohio Cashflow, I found the communication was quick. It was always very thorough. Any questions I had were exactly. I was able to pick up the phone and give you a call at any time. And that was a huge selling point to me. And I know that's what you have stressed before I had even met you. Hearing on podcasts or in your articles, building that relationship is important to you. And I found out quickly why. And I found that and a concern, of course, is that going to go away once you buy the property? And I found that hasn't been the case. You guys have continued to be the best communicators that I've seen.
I appreciate it, mate. Well, look, I always like to say, at the end of the day, shit will hit the fan. Not everything is going to be smooth sailing. And people that know real estate, people that know business like yourself, right, understand that. But if we work together and if we communicate promptly, then we can resolve those issues in a quicker manner. So, I hate picking up the phone and calling when there's an issue. If a tenant's not paying the rent, it hurts me. I hate doing it. It's one of the shittest things I have to do. But at the end of the day, it's something that I have to do because we have to be on the same page. We have to communicate and we have to resolve whatever the issue is. Awesome, dude.
And I'll add to it real quick, though, because on top of the communication was the returns, really. So, I was looking to leverage my purchases as we're still growing. That was important to me. But when we came across the property we ended up with at Orlando Drive, the numbers were great. We for a turnkey property, especially, a lot of times the numbers we were seeing on that property, the house needs a lot of work before it's rent ready. And we were very happy to see that deal available with a team that we're very happy with. And
see, I knew I sold you that one for too cheap. Bloody hell, mate. Nah, I've actually, believe it or not, mate, I've got another 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom coming up in the Washington local. I'm not selling it. I've said that for the last 5 deals, and I keep selling them. This one, I'm not selling it. It's a top property. It's probably same size to your one. It's got a little bit of a bigger front yard. It's not too far away from Orlando, but mate, those things, you know, as you know, they rent for a lot of money. Like a 2-bedroom home can get 800. I'll probably get 850 for mine. I'll try and push it. 3 bedrooms could go up to 1,000. So awesome, dude. All right, what do we have next here? We've got, how would you describe the purchase investment process with a higher cash flow?
Very easy. And I think the communication is what helped with that.
Sure.
So for us at the time, that was our first cash deal. And that was very helpful having you guys help us through that process. Again, we're very quick to answer any questions that we had. We're very easy to deal with. As soon as we had the inspection results, you guys worked with us to get those.
You smashed me on those, man. You smashed me. I'm not letting you do a building inspection on the next one, mate. Forget about that.
Yeah, you guys are easy to work with. I'm typically not. So and I know that, but hey, I've got to look out for our properties, right?
Awesome.
No, you guys were great, and really, I found the process very easy and made us want to do more. So.
Awesome, dude. I appreciate it. Has everything been running smoothly since your purchase?
It has, very much.
What's going on, man? It has.
Right after the first.
What about those $30,000 pigs that everyone's talking about, hey? What do you know, mate?
Yeah, that's, I don't know. That's what I keep hearing.
Me too, man. The pigs obviously can deliver, huh? Shit.
You're not kidding. But yeah, I mean, so we had an issue, right when we closed, where we were worried that the tenant was slow to pay on rent. And I didn't know this right off the bat, but you did a great job of giving us a call. You let us know, even before we knew it was an issue, you gave us a call probably a few days after the first of the month and said, hey, we're having a little bit of a trouble with this tenant. Just want to keep you in the loop.
Yep.
And you called us and let us know when she paid again. And within a couple of months, you kept us up to date, and she was always paying. And within a couple of months, you had her paying by the first every month.
Yep.
And, just that communication that you had, again, it helped build that trust.
Yep, awesome, mate. So far, so good. She's actually scheduled to come in and pay tomorrow, okay? So it's not by the first. If she doesn't, I'll give you a call, mate. So now that we're discussing that. But, okay, awesome, dude. Do you plan on purchasing more investment properties? Are you comfortable to purchase again with a higher cash flow? Bloody hell, Angie, that's a pretty salesy freaking question right there. Anyway, I like it. So let me repeat that question now. I love it. And you take notes on whatever he says. Do you plan to purchase more investment properties? Are you comfortable to purchase again with a higher cash flow?
Yes and yes. So we're trying to grow as fast as we can. So I think since we bought Orlando, we've bought 3 other properties.
Not through me.
Months. And unfortunately, not all through Ohio Cashflow.
Write that down, Angie. No Christmas, no gift card for Christmas.
And for us, for you guys, your communication is great. You're fast. Your response times are awesome. And you guys have a model that you have to stick to, right? Sure. And for us, part of how we're growing is still by buying with leverage.
Sure.
And that we know that from a seller's point of view, that's a lot more difficult to work with. We have issues where lenders drop out last minute, and so we understand completely. And so that's what I've been talking to you about, and what we're probably most interested in doing our next deal with Ohio Cashflow is stepping up to some of the bigger properties and using some financing.
I've got a duplex for you coming up in the next couple of days, and we're open to financing options on that one. So I'll keep you posted on that. Alrighty, awesome.
Great.
And final quick questions. Okay, I think you already answered this, but we'll just go for it. Okay, do we respond in a timely manner?
Every time.
Do you feel worried about us lying, cheating, or stealing?
No, not at all.
Would you recommend us to fellow investors?
Yes, definitely.
Overall, how has your experience been? Any final words?
The experience has been great, really. Again, I'm very happy working with Ohio Cashflow. I think we look forward to purchasing more properties through you guys. Really, the service has been some of the best that we've seen. We worked with, the best that we've seen, really. Awesome. We work with a number of turnkey properties throughout the country in different markets, and we're very happy. We really wish we could get the same level of service from everybody that we see from Ohio Cashflow. So we appreciate it, and we look forward to doing further business.
I'm all blushing now, mate. That's great. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And the last question, mate, probably the most difficult out of all of them, okay? Who is your favorite Australian?
I have a really good friend that's an Australian, actually, but I'd have to stick with Engelo Rumora.
Thank you.
the real estate dingo.
That's it, baby. Awesome, mate. Next time I'm going to ask, do you have any friends that are Australians? And if they say no, I'll be like, okay, well then who's your favorite Australian? Awesome, mate. Hey, I appreciate it. Yep.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Awesome, dude. And that pretty much concludes our interview. Jacob Elbe, thank you so much. True North Property Solutions, guys. If you want his contact details, feel free to ask for him. I'm more than happy to put you in contact with this guy. Look, if you want to find out a little bit more about us and what we do, please go to www.ohiocashflow.com. Follow us on social media. Send us a message. If you want to be a part of Ohio Cashflow, I suggest you check out the description in this video. You'll find the link to our investor application form. Please feel free to click it, fill out the application form, and someone will be in contact with you shortly. We've only got a few more spots open, to be honest with you. So around 10 or 15 more investors will have the privilege of working with Ohio Cashflow. So I suggest you jump on that. Wow, that's pretty salesy, isn't it? Jump on that opportunity as soon as you can. Other than that, guys, once again, I'm Engelo Rumora, your favorite Australian and the real estate dingo, chatting to Jacob Elbe here. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.